Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to dissolve agar, because agar is a very peculiar powder that dissolves only when it's heated, so sometimes it's very hard to say whether it has dissolved or not. And whether you dissolve it in a pot on a stove or in a beaker in a microwave, that doesn't matter. The kind of symptoms, whether it's dissolved or not, are pretty much the same. So the most important thing is to have everything ready. So I have my liquid, it's 100 grams of fruit cordial, and I have the little weighing boat with agar that has 2 grams of agar in it. I'm just going to pour it all into the beaker, give it a tiny bit of swirl, just so it mixes a little bit inside, disperses in the cold liquid. And you can see I'm not really lifting the beaker from the top of from the table, just to give it a nice support and make sure it doesn't break. So once the agar is dispersed, I can actually see inside, and I'll show you on a zoom in right now, that the agar is not dissolved. There is a certain cloudiness to it, and you can see the crystals. So this agar has now simmered, and I'll show you on a zoom in how to see that it's actually not really fully dissolved yet, although it seems like it's dissolved. So basically you can see that it's not dissolved because there is a little bit of crystals on the sides, and there are crystals on the inside that hopefully will be visible on the video. Now, one thing that's good to do at this time is to take your silicone spatula and kind of wipe the sides of the beaker to make sure that all the liquid with all the crystals goes in. And now we're going to put it in the microwave for the final boil. Again, if you use a stove, you can also put it on the stove again and just boil it. When you have an agar mixture, it's always best to dissolve it by boiling for about a minute or two, and that way you make sure that it is fully dissolved. So now the agar has been boiling in the microwave for about 2 minutes and it's fully dissolved. It has changed its transparency. Now it's very transparent. It's a colorful, transparent liquid. It's not opaque in any way. There is no cloudiness in it. I cannot really see any crystals floating. I'll do a zoom in to show you. And just as a note, be very careful when handling a hot liquid. So I'm wearing laboratory hot gloves. You can use a kitchen towel, you can use oven mitts, but make sure you don't touch hot beakers with hot liquid or hot pots with hot liquid with your bare hands, because you will get burned. Now, if you are concerned that you boiled off too much water and too much water has evaporated and it will affect your experiment, what you can decide to do is to weigh out this hot liquid when you pour it into the beaker that you will set it in, and then just add hot water to achieve the same weight that you had before you started boiling it. In this case we had 100 grams of the cordial and 2 grams of agar, so let's say this would weigh 90 grams after boiling. We will add 12 grams of hot water to make sure that the concentration of agar is the same as it was. So if you make any kinds of these adjustments where you compensate for the evaporated water, make sure to weigh everything out precisely and make sure to put it in your laboratory notebook, just so when you want to repeat the experiment or for future reference, that it is clear what you have done and that you have actually adjusted the volume after the boiling.